Right now, though, from Free California, Jennifer Kearns is with us. Jennifer, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for
How are
joining us,
you, Cam?
Jennifer. I'm good.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, so Governor Jerry Brown on Friday afternoon vetoed some gun control bills and signed a lot of gun control bills in the state of California.
That he did. In fact, he signed 11, to be exact, very egregious gun control bills. So far, even though it's been a busy year across the nation with legislatures pushing those gun control bills, California seems to have beaten them all with the most extreme gun packages in the nation, which Jerry Brown signed on to. Now, there was one bit of good news. I know you've had Ed Worley and some other folks on talking about this. There was one bill he did stand down on, and that was SB 374, which would have been probably the worst gun bill to pass in American history. So we do give Jerry Brown a bit of credit there for holding off on that. No surprise there. He was immediately attacked also by progressives on the left who said that he had blood on his hands for standing down on just that one bill. So it goes to show you, again, progressives continue to push for radical gun control.
Well, they do, and you know it's interesting. We'll talk about the lead ammo ban here in a second, but you know Governor Brown vetoing the semi-auto ban, saying that these weren't guns that were used in a lot of crimes. To ban these guns would be an infringement of the rights of gun owners. You know, Jennifer, I want the governor to take that logic, to take that argument to its logical conclusion, because California already has a quote-unquote assault weapons ban on the books. None of those guns that are on that list are used in a lot of crimes, and the fact that that banned gun list exists, I think, is an infringement on the rights not just of gun owners in California, but on the rights of Californians who would like to become gun owners.
Right. Well, I do think Jerry Brown is politically savvy enough that he knew if he signed SB 374, it would be the holy grail of politics. You know, the Second Amendment we've seen this year in states like Colorado. Now there are recall elections happening in the New England area against 4 town council members who are also pushing gun control. We're seeing recalls pop up all over the United States. And I think Jerry Brown, given that he's been a governor before, he's been a 2-term governor at that, comes from a long line of a political dynasty. He's a smart guy, and I think he knew that signing SB 374 would be the holy grail of politics that he would never recover from. And I'll argue this. What we've seen this year with the Second Amendment is that the Second Amendment is the new third rail in politics. It used to be as a Republican or a Democrat, you would never want to raise taxes. I think the paradigm has shifted in favor of the Second Amendment. I think the Second Amendment is the new hot topic that politicians don't want to touch. And even though Brown stood down on SB 374, he still signed into law 11 of the most radical gun control bills in the nation. I think he's going to see some damage in his approval ratings, as we've seen in states like New York and Colorado, very similar blue states with Democrat governors who have suffered that same fate. And as we've talked about on the show here before, we're looking at some recall elections in the state of California.
Have you, Jennifer, have you identified any likely senators or assembly persons for those recalls there in California?
You know, we are carefully taking a look right now at about a dozen state senators and assembly members in the state of California who either supported those bills very strongly or voted for those bills. We're going to be very diligent and very careful with the targeted seats that we pick, because, of course, I think picking the target is just as important as how you run the recall campaign. I think recall campaigns are very likely. I would even say inevitable at this point. But we're going to look at those targeted seats very carefully. We're actually scoring them on a scale of their party registration in each district. We're looking at the number of votes they received the last time they ran for office. And we're looking to see, we've actually got charts up on the wall today, looking to see how each and every single member of the California State Legislature voted on those gun bills. And we'll be making a decision probably in the next week or two as to who may be recalled.
All right. Talking with Jennifer Kearns from Free California. And you know, Jennifer, we were just talking, there was a story at the Atlantic about a number of cities in California that are seeing just the cratering of the middle class. Apparently 14% of homes in San Francisco right now that are for sale are homes that middle-class Californians can afford. Similar numbers in Los Angeles and San Diego and Orange County and San Jose. With the governor rejecting this sweeping gun ban, but signing on to the lead ammo ban for hunting. Was this a political message to the hinterlands in California, to those non-coastal counties, to the cities that don't have the tech billionaires moving there, that you don't really matter, that your voices are outnumbered, and perhaps your wallets are outnumbered, and so these folks on the coast can tell you how to hunt now?
Right. Well, the lead ammo bill definitely most egregious. It's not that surprising that a liberal Democrat governor would not be that connected to the sport of hunting. I hate to stereotype, but I think there's some truth in that. What I think you also see is what a couple of reporters are digging into, which is that that lead ammo bill was really pushed by the Humane Society. The executive director of whom is based in Sacramento, and by the way, has a very close personal relationship with Jerry Brown and his wife, Ann. In fact, as those of you outside of California may not know this, but Jerry Brown takes his dog, Sutter Brown, to virtually every press conference they have. He's become a fixture on a campaign trail in California. Well, guess who is the dog sitter for Sutter Brown, the state dog? It is the head of the Humane Society. So there's some chatter among folks that, look, this would be akin to like me having a child and a bill from my babysitter comes across my desk. Am I too close to make a decision on that? Could I say no to a close personal friend of mine? I don't know. I think we'll see more in the next few days. Some reporters exploring that close relationship there and whether it had anything to do with the fact that he signed that lead ammo bill.
That's interesting because this was a contentious bill in California. You as you point out, you had labor unions coming out against the lead ammo ban. You had public employee unions coming out in support of the lead ammo ban. Obviously, Humane Society got involved as well. But this was not. I didn't think this was going to be a slam dunk measure for the governor to sign.
That's right. And, it just goes to show the great landscape that does exist in the state of California. You have those coastal areas, which provide so much of the beauty of California. You have the Central Valley, which is really the breadbasket to the world. And they grow, so many crops and so much produce. And it's just a very rich, diverse state. And I think if you're, a liberal Democrat governor who's not taking a look at the entire picture of the state of California, I think you're going to be leaving some folks behind. We've seen him do that with jobs and the economy. You mentioned some of the areas. We were just in Modesto the other day. The unemployment in the Central Valley is upwards of 50%. That's not 15. That's 50. So I think you're looking at a governor who is maybe struggling to be in touch with the people in some non-blue counties, so to speak. But he has to understand that he does represent the entire state of California. 37 million people who live in that state, and not just the folks who live in Oakland and Berkeley who are right in his backyard.
Absolutely. Now, listen, Mayor Bloomberg doesn't represent anybody in California because he's still the mayor of New York. He doesn't represent anybody in Colorado either, Jennifer. And I thought it was fascinating. I'm sure you saw the story out of USA Today, Governor John Hickenlooper telling gun control groups, listen, just maybe you want to stay away from the state with this third recall effort, the effort to recall Edie Hudak. You guys, I think, riled folks up. And Bloomberg's response, Bloomberg was asked about the recall efforts in that Time Magazine article, and he said, quote, "What do you mean we lost? I'm sorry for those two people, but we won in Colorado. On to the next state."
Well, as the rapper Jay-Z says in one of his songs called Tom Ford, he said, the numbers don't lie, check the scoreboard. You guys were out here on September 10th on Election Day. You saw what the numbers were. We won. It was a clear and convincing win. And in fact, in the week or two leading up to the election, even the leaders of the Democrat Party, including Debbie Wasserman Schultz herself, said, if these gun recalls succeed, it will set the gun control movement back at least a decade. And I think what we're seeing here with Mayor Bloomberg making his next move is that what we predicted is actually coming true. Mayor Bloomberg now, after suffering a bruising loss at the polls in Colorado, a month ago, and also losing on that same night. His pick for successor to New York Mayor Christine Quinn also tanked at the ballot box. He's been searching for relevance in terms of what his next pet project will be. I have a column out in the Washington Times today that says he's headed to Mexico to push for a national soda tax, on soft drinks in Mexico. Now, this is great news for people who are supporters of the Second Amendment, because this, I think, means, if you read the tea leaves, I think this means we get a reprieve from his mayors against guns going after, strict gun control. So he's obviously changed gears here. I think it's in large part to what happened in the state of Colorado. We did win here. It was clear and convincing. And I think the proof is in the pudding. Where is Michael Bloomberg headed? He's headed to a foreign country. As they say, if you don't succeed, try things in Mexico. So he's going down there to push the soda tax. We'll see how he does. But for the moment, I think he's out of our hair in regards to the Second Amendment.
I would not concur, unfortunately, with that, Jennifer. I think Mayor Bloomberg is way too invested in this emotionally as well as ideologically. I think let me put it this way: a reprieve may be the correct word to use, because I think it'll only be temporary. I think in the midterm elections, Mayor Bloomberg will be back with a vengeance, and even elections before then. He's given money to Terry McAuliffe. He's given money to Cory Booker. So I think he still is making moves, although let's say perhaps not quite as publicly visible as he was in Colorado. Yeah,
that could be. Reprieve is a good word, I think. I think you're right. I think we'll see him pop back up in the midterm cycle, and especially in that governor's race in Virginia. That's one to watch for sure.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Jennifer, I appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You
thanks,
bet.
Ken.
Jennifer Kearns joined us from Free California.